Hey guys, Pitmaster here. Quick recap and lessons learned from UFC Boston last night. I have three lessons that I want to talk about. Three. One's two are lessons, and one's kind of a more of an observation. But I thought they were great fights. The main event was very, very close, but I thought the decision was right. I think the movement, not only did he move a lot, which maybe it looked like he was running, but he was also landing a lot of punches, both significant and insignificant. But along with the insignificant, there were some pretty significant ones as well. And let's not forget, he got, I think, 5 takedowns. So it was a close fight, but I thought it went the right way. I think TJ will definitely be back. And other than that, it was a great card. All right, let me talk about the three lessons. Well, kind of two lessons and one observation. Number one, Sean O'Connell against Latifi. Latifi is a solid wrestler. I think he trains in an American Top Team. I don't know where Sean O'Connell trains. Looks like a real tough kid. I'm sure he'll be back. But we've talked about this before. A lot of my lessons are going to be reoccurring lessons just to try to make the point. When you're fighting, especially a short, stockier guy that you think is going to be throwing a lot of looping punches, your left hand should be kept high. Whether you jab and bring it back or whether you're circling, whatever, this chin should be buried behind your shoulder and your hand should stay here, okay? Like if you're fighting a taller guy or whatever the situation, a lot of times you'll drop your hands more or do different depending on the opponent. But when you're fighting a short, stockier guy like a Mike Tyson type, you know they're going to be throwing overhand rights and looping punches because usually the shorter guy isn't going to throw straight punches going up because you don't get as much power going up as you do coming down, like with an overhand or a looping hook. So this shoulder should just be, always kept high, and the chin should be buried behind it, and the hand should always stay up. Okay, so that's a very important part. The hand was down a little bit too relaxed, and the overhand right knocked O'Connell out, and that's it. Keeping the left hand and the chin down. And the shoulder is protecting. You see, the shoulder is actually covering the hook. I mean, the chin from the hooks and the overhands. Okay, you can still get hit in the head, yeah, and that'll still hurt. But the number one place you're going to get knocked out is the button, which is the chin. And you can't protect everything unless you're wearing a freaking motorcycle helmet. So the main thing you want to protect, if you had to protect one thing, is your chin. Okay, so that's my point there. Second fight, Patrick Cote against Saunders. We're really close with Saunders. I love him, and I know he'll be back. Let's not forget, he's the only fighter ever to win by omoplata in the UFC, and he was on a 3 UFC fight winning streak, and to be beaten by someone like Patrick Cote is not like really. It's not a disgrace by any means. I mean, Patrick Cote is the freaking predator for a reason. Okay, but anyone that knows however you want to get your guy in a tie clinch, the first thing I tell my students is pretend your elbows are actually going to touch. Obviously, they're not going to because there's a head in between them. But you want your elbows to be as close as they can to prevent the uppercuts from coming. Also to prevent the takedowns, a lot of things. But in this case, Ben's elbows were a little too wide when he got the tie clinch. You can still get really good knees, but your opponent can get uppercuts to your chin. And the uppercuts to your chin are a lot shorter than traveling with the knee. So when you put a tie clinch on someone, if your elbows are apart like this, they can sneak up some pretty brutal uppercuts, which happened to Ben, and he actually got knocked out by him. But, and all this stuff I'm saying is easier said than done. Nobody's, it's a fight. It's going to go back and forth. So I'm just giving my tips and my lessons learned. But so when you get the tie clinch, always try to just squeeze your elbows together. It helps to prevent those uppercuts. So elbows out here equals uppercuts and other bad things. So you always want to keep your elbows tight. Okay? Boom. Those are my 2 lessons. You got those? Chin behind the shoulder and the left hand always up. Okay, if you're southpaw, obviously it's the other way around. And when you get a tie clinch, always try to have your elbows touching. All right, those are my 2 main lessons. My third one is the main event. I mean, TJ Dillashaw against Dominic Cruz. I think my observation is people are saying, that Dominic was just running, but he was actually running with a purpose and moving with a purpose. And he wasn't really running. He was just doing a lot of lateral movements. It's really, really hard to hit someone that's moving like that. And to me, this is my observation or my lesson-ish, even though someone like Dominic Cruz, there's no lessons for him. I mean, he's so crazy the way he fights, and he has so much ingenuity, and he's so creative. The only way, I think, short of catching him and KOing him, is with that movement, you have to be diligent, and you have to be quick and dynamic to cut off the cage and get him up against the cage. Because to me, the only chance you have is when you get him against the cage. You could try to time him when he comes in, but good luck with that, because he comes in at different angles and he darts in. And while you're winding up to catch one angle, he's at a different angle. So to me, the only way is to cut off the cage, not follow him, but to cut off the cage methodically but dynamically. And once his back's against the cage, try to do your damage, whether it be takedowns or strikes. So those are my lessons for this video. I hope you liked it. I thought they were great fights. UFC Boston. UFC is doing such a crazy, fantastic job in their matchmaking and their promotions. So anyway, I'll see you guys. Stay tuned for my our podcast, Bushido Talk. It's on SoundCloud. It's on and it's on iTunes. Bushido Talk. It's crazy. I got Naya Rodriguez and Tommy Tohold with me, and we're doing this crazy podcast every week. And it's been going on for months, and it's fantastic. You learn and you're entertained at the same time. Thanks for coming, guys.